Hey, hey, happy 4th of July, especially to all our British friends out there who are kind of obsessed with us and making videos about us, as evil Americans. Doing another car video. Kind of hot to be out walking around right now here. I got up this morning, used the cool hours to do all my laundry and stuff like that. Got rid of all the fuzz and shaved. I had a productive morning not going to work. What I wanted to talk about today was men who want to treat their Filipino partners like children, and why that's just not a good thing. But a lot of guys, you see them, they act like they everything their Filipina does, it's childish, that they are just geared toward behaving like children, and that it's the man's job to keep all that stuff under control and to keep them in line, But the reason so many of these men end up with women who act like children is because that's what they're looking for. They're not looking for a woman, someone who has her own brain and who might have her own opinion about things and might be willing to actually stand up to them and tell them that they're wrong sometimes. They can't handle that. That's why you get all these guys who are whining about Western women, and they want to move out to the Philippines and find somebody who will listen to them. But the only way they can do that is to find a child. There's something wrong with a guy who needs to be with a child. There's just something wrong with them. And a lot of these people, though, that's what they are looking for. That's what they have to fulfill their fantasy. Because their fantasy girl that they are looking for is not someone who is strong and independent and has a brain and can think for themselves and can pitch in and help out and maybe give them advice sometimes. That's not what they're looking for. They want to be the one in charge. And they are looking for someone who will look up to them and do what they're told and be a good little girl. And to do that, you have to find a child. What they want, though, is they want someone who will act like that but be in a body that is old enough to be legal for them to have sex with, So they go over to the Philippines and places like that, and they find someone who can try and, meet their fantasy needs. But there's just something wrong with a man, especially when so many of these guys want to tell you what great men they are, has to find somebody who is not really a woman in order to feel fulfilled and have a relationship that meets all their criteria. They can't handle women, Western women who are not willing to just say, okay, I'm going to kick back and see what my master has to tell me and how they want me to do things. They need to be in a place where they can find someone who will listen to them and treat them like their father or something. Who's your daddy? It's sad, but that's the only way to find somebody who will never talk back or have their own opinion about things. A lot of these guys, they want to act like they are the adults in the relationship. So what does that say? What that tells you is that they know that they've gotten involved with somebody who is not an adult, because they view themselves as the adult, or that's how they want to be viewed. Like, I am the one who is the adult in this situation. And yet at the same time, they don't really want to exhibit adult behavior, because an adult would be willing to collaborate and listen and share with their wife as a partnership. And that's not what these guys are looking for. They're not looking for a partner. They're not really looking for a wife. They're looking for a little girl that they can push around and they can tell them what to do and groom them and train them to be what they want, before they are old enough to have been ruined by developing their own ideas. When you go to the Philippines, some other place like that, you find some woman who's been living there her whole life. She knows more than you do about that culture. She knows a lot of things that you don't know. She knows how things are expected to be done, and what the best way is to handle things sometimes. But a lot of men will not listen to their wife and take advice about things because they want to feel like they're the one in charge and making the final decision about everything. And that is such a silly point of view. It's just not even intelligent to go somewhere like that. Yeah, you might be older. You might be 20, 30 years older than your wife. But that doesn't make you, her father. It doesn't mean that you always know what's right and she doesn't. A lot of that experience that these guys have when they go over there, they want to feel like they are men of the world and masters of the universe. And they've been around and they've done things, and they can tell that woman what to do. And they can take her under their wings, and she should appreciate that and be a good little girl and never talk back, never pout a little bit or anything. She has to be put in her place and taken charge of. What that tells you is it really says more about them than it does about that woman. But they don't want a woman. If they really wanted a woman, they would not insist on finding somebody who needs to be treated like a child, or that they want to view as a child who needs to be treated that way. So I don't know what's the problem with doing that. A lot of these guys, though, you'll find them making fun of other men who aren't jerks like that, and trying to portray themselves as some great he-man. Like I said yesterday in the one video, like a man among men. That's what these guys all are, it's like the old Rhodesian SAS thing, the Rhodesian army, the recruiting poster to be a man among men. A lot of guys go over there. They don't have any great record of success over here to point to as far as relationships or being masters of the universe or something, But they go over there and find some young woman who's 20, 30 years younger than them, and want to be able to try and impose their fantasy life on that person and have them fulfill the role that they are looking for in their fantasies of some subservient little thing who will do whatever they want to do sexually and things like that, and never talk back.